So what do you do if you have launched something and you didn't get the results that you hoped for? And that happens to a lot of us. It happens to all of us, I think, at some point. And the key is, what do you do when that happens? When you put out something, whether that's an online course or a coaching program, and you put it out there with these big expectations, and then the response you get sounds like crickets chirping, right? That can be really easily one of the most discouraging things to go through. And I want to talk about a subtle shift in how to think about launching that can make a really, really big difference, and where you need to look to improve your launch results if you didn't get the results you were looking for. So first of all, I think one of the things we tend to do when we're launching our work, and it's really hard for us because the work you're putting out is your expertise. So it's really easy when you put it out to feel like the work is you, right? You are the work. So when you don't get this big response to it, it's easy to feel discouraged, like people aren't looking for the thing that you want to share. And in truth, that's not the case. Oftentimes what it is little tweaks that can make a really big difference in how you're putting your work out in the world, how you're marketing it. So let's take a look at this, because I want to share with you how successful launchers think differently about putting their work out. When we're thinking about launching, oftentimes we see it as a funnel. And this is one of the things that we talk about in our expert experience method. We work through what the different offers are that you offer people. So let's say I come into your experience and it looks like this. I come in to your quote unquote funnel and I move into your main offer, right? In a perfect world, you imagine all your people going, wow, we want this offer, and they jump in, and then they go, wow, we want to go to the next thing. That's so amazing. Wow, we want to come in and do the deeper dive work with you. So in our mind, this launch is going to look like this easy flow where people come into the funnel and they move through each piece and they're excited to do the work with you. The truth is that that's rarely the case right when you get out the chute. There's often things that you have to improve in the process. What happens more often than not is a lot of times when you're first starting and you launch something, what I see, because I get to work with lots and lots of people who are launching, and it sometimes can look like this. So it can look more like a colander. So a colander, when you put that flow of leads into the colander, people that are coming in to say they click on an ad with you or they're going to a webinar, what often can happen is there's holes in that funnel that look a lot like a colander. So I can sign up for your webinar, but oh gee, I don't show up, or I click on the ad and I don't actually sign up for the webinar, or I go to the webinar and I leave early, or I'm in the webinar and I go to the sales page, but gee, I have to think about it, right? So in your flow, there are all these opportunities for people to fall through the holes. And the key to thinking about how to create great launches is to shift this from it's a win-lose, like either it worked or it didn't, to the mindset of an experimenter. This is the number one thing that sets people up to be really successful at sharing their work in a big way, is to think about everything you're putting out as an experiment. You can anticipate all of these holes before you launch. The key is to think about your offer and putting that out, and then thinking about what you can tweak as you continue to share that offer with your audience. So Kim Moore, who is part of our community, she launched a course called Head Shape Matters. And this is a course about hair cutting. And when she first offered that program, in the first workshop she offered it, she had 28 people that were in that offer. Moving forward, as we work together and we continue to refine it, looking for little places where there might be holes in the experience that could be improved and plugged and tweaked, she moved from having 28 people in that first experience when she offered it to the last time that she launched, she had 300 people in her program. The key here is it's the same program. Kim didn't change the program. What she focused on in her launch was identifying those holes, and we looked at each hole and we said, wow, here's something we can do to plug that hole so we don't lose people in the experience. A launch is simply this experience that you're crafting for your audience, and noticing where they're engaged and where you're losing them is the key to having more people move through the complete experience all the way to signing up to do the work with you. And that's what we want. So the main shift that we have to make is really a mindset shift, because we could sit down and I can show you where the holes are and we can work to plug those holes. We can even give you, here's some holes to think about in advance. But none of that matters until you really make that shift and you say, wow, this is an experiment. So it's the mindset of being an experimenter that allows you to do this and to do it comfortably. It allows you to go faster and put in your workout, which is really, really important, because the thing I think that holds us back is, one, this desire to have it perfect before we put it out, and that's impossible. You can't perfect it until you get it in front of your customers. And two, it keeps us out of that feeling of being discouraged because things didn't turn out the way we wanted when we look at it as the one shot we have to launch something. You have many opportunities to constantly refine what you're doing, and your audience is going to give you feedback to help you improve that. So I'd love your thoughts on this whole idea of approaching this like an experiment. What do you think it's going to take to really think about everything you're doing as a big experiment? So share it in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking, and keep launching, because putting it out there is how you get to do the work that you're really here to do.